Welcome to Preserving Our Memories. North Brookfield residents talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. In March of 2020, businesses, schools, libraries, and other organizations shut down at the insistence of the CDC, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and for libraries specifically, the Board of Library Commissioners. Librarians began to talk about ways to record the events and impacts of this life-changing event. We also were considering ways that we could provide library services virtually. In January of 2021, after the libraries had been closed for much of the previous year, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners announced the availability of virtual programming for distance learning grants. These grants were made available through funding that came from the CARES Act. CARES stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security. I applied for one of these grants and received the announcement that we would get the money. This grant project was conceived in two parts. The first part was to provide those virtual learning opportunities that are described in the grant's title. I was hoping that it could be used for preserving the memories of the people who were living through the pandemic. The first program that we offered was a remote program on art journaling for children and teens. The next one that we offered was on digital scrapbooking. The third one that we offered was on memoir writing. The fourth one that we offered was on genealogical research. And finally, we had a speaker from Old Sturbridge Village from the library who brought examples, virtual examples of correspondence, journals, and diaries, which highlighted the importance of preserving our memories so that people in the future can read about what our lives were like. This grant then had the component of video interviews. That's what you're seeing right now. We wanted to find out how people reacted to the pandemic in various ways. The things that they couldn't do during the pandemic shutdown, the things that actually were positive outcomes of the pandemic, the ways that their lives changed in regard to work and school, the lessons that they learned through the pandemic. The pandemic is still ongoing, unfortunately, in January of 2023. But we have this record, this window of time that we have preserved, and we hope that you will watch these videos, remember how you have felt during the pandemic, think about the ways that you had to adapt to all of the changes that happened overnight, and remember that we're still here, we're going strong, and the future is in front of us. I would like to thank all of the people who did these interviews. I would like to thank library staff for supporting this project. I'd like to thank the people of North Brookfield who've always been wonderfully supportive of this library. And I'd like to formally thank the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners for administering the grant funds received through the Institute of Museum and Library Services and given to them through the CARES Act. Thank you, everyone.